Now watch this. Jesus is realistic. He doesn't lead us to believe that, if you trust him, your life is a breeze. He says there's still going to be suffering and struggle and sin and death. And John 16, just a little bit later, he says in verse 33, he says, in this world you will have trouble. Not everything is peaceful yet. You're going to have some trouble. But remember this, he turns around and says, you're going to have trouble. Then John 14:27, he says, do not let your hearts be troubled. You see that? In other words, as one person has said, don't be troubled by trouble. And this is the key. This is the key. Lean in right now. This is it. So many people don't understand this principle, and it's the key to finding peace in Christ. Here it is. No matter what kind of trauma or turmoil or testing you're in, there's going to be trouble, but you don't need to be troubled. There will be trouble, but you don't need to be troubled. And this is what that guy, Paul, in the New Testament found. He found that kind of peace when he was quarantined, right? Separated from his loved ones like we are, facing a trial and almost certain death. And yet he says, I found it. What? I found the peace of Christ. And he says it passes understanding. In other words, it won't even appear to make sense because I am in so much trouble right now, but I'm not troubled. You see, that's what we want in life, isn't it? To find that, what he called the secret to contentment, to find that peace in a pandemic, to be in trouble, but not have your spirit troubled. All that comes through Christ. That's what he says. Look at the rest of that verse, 16:33, where he says, you'll have trouble in this world. Look at the whole verse. He says, I've told you these things so that, again, in me, it's my peace, in me you may have peace. In this world, you will have trouble, but you can take heart. You don't have to be troubled because I have overcome the world. In John 14, he says that same thing. Don't be troubled. Why? He says, believe in God, believe also in me. So important to see this. Does he say you don't have to be troubled because I'm going to make your life a cakewalk? Cushy and easy and breezy? No. He's not surprised by COVID or 2020. But he says you don't have to have your heart be troubled because you can believe in God and trust in me. And that is the portal. Your trust in Jesus is the portal through which the peace of Christ comes. So trust in me, he says. Belief or trust in the Bible is this idea of putting all your weight onto something. Right? Like my dad busted his legs really bad when he fell off a ladder back in 1970. Like he shattered his kneecaps, broke all his bones. He was out for like 6 months, but then he got rehabbed and he logged like 1,000,000 miles on those legs over the last few decades, okay? But now in his older years, they're shot and it's bone on bone and it's painful. So sometimes he uses one of those walkers. We've all seen them, right? And you know how he does that, right? If you want to take a step, you put that walker out there and you put your weight on it and then you can step forward. You put it out and then you take a step. You put it out and put your weight on it and you can move forward in that way. And that's faith. What you believe, that's what you put your weight on so you can move forward. What you put your trust in so you can keep moving. When it's painful and you don't know where to go or what to do and the trouble is great, whatever you put your weight on to be able to move forward, that's what you believe in. So what's your walker? What are you putting your weight on so you can move forward? What are you trusting in to try to tame your troubles? What are you believing in order to find some peace? If you put your weight on anything other than Jesus, it's not going to hold up and it's not going to help you move forward. And I think honestly, this is why there's so many angry people these days and so much division, because everyone's trying to put their weight on all these different things that aren't working. They're leaning on the walker of a political system or a party or some social structure or the Constitution or a vaccine or our positive optimism. And none of that can handle the weight of what's going on in our world. And so no one can really move forward and we can't find peace. And Jesus says, trust in God, trust also in me. Put your weight on him so you can move forward. And friend, we need that now more than ever in these troubled times, don't we? We need Jesus. We need to trust in Jesus. Our world needs Jesus more than ever. It's why our mission's so important. Can I just say that right now? Like your prayers for this church and our ministry, your giving, your participation, what we're doing is so crucial because our world needs Jesus. And it's time for all of us, everyone listening to my voice, to double down on Jesus, to rely on him, to trust in him, to cling to him like never before. Because you know what? We're in trouble, but our hearts don't have to be troubled when Jesus is your walker and you lean on him. Trusting Christ is that portal through which his peace can come in. So you can say, you know what, there's a lot of trouble in 2020. But you know what else? My heart's not troubled.